He's been urgent in everything that he's done since he got back after the bowl game. He's had a great summer, continuing to build timing and rhythm with our wide receivers, get on the same page before we get into training camp, and obviously excited to see him grow throughout the course of training camp.
Through interactions with your players, reports you got from people, what have you maybe learned about this team over the summer months or since you broke from spring ball? Have you learned anything new about this team?
Well, I think they're extremely focused, and that's individually on where they want to get to as a player, but collectively as a football team. They understand the importance of every single day. You got to go win every rep, every set, every single day. Their feet are where they're at. They're in the moment, and we got to continue to do that as we go into our next phase of preparation for the season when we get to training camp.
Josh, what about health status? Cam Selden, Peyton Lewis, those guys in the spring?
Yeah, both of those guys are doing extremely well. Peyton is fully integrated into everything that we're doing. Cam's really close to that. He'll have a growth progression as we get into training camp. But excited to have both of those guys continue along that line and be ready for kickoff when we get to the season.
You mentioned Nico being the guy, obviously. What has he shown you in terms of being ready for that responsibility?
Smart, competitive, skill set, accurate with the football, good decision maker. His work habits, for a guy throughout the recruiting process to come into our building, earn the trust and respect of the teammates around him, to grow as a player, to continue to grow in his ability to lead. I love what he's done as a young player. He is a young player. There's going to be a growth and an evolution and progress throughout the course of the season with him as a player. Excited to see him compete and go do that during the course of the season.
Josh, he has such a business-like demeanor to him, kind of flatline. How much does that fit what you guys like from a QB in your offense?
Well, I think it is important for your quarterback, just like your players, just like the rest of your roster, but your coaches, to never get too high, never get too low, to continue to focus on what's coming next, be in the moment. He's extremely confident. He's that way because he puts in the work. He's a great teammate. He's becoming a great leader. I'm excited to have him inside of our building, leading the offense, and go kick off with him in 24.
Your defense has made strides kind of every year. Yep. What's kind of this next evolution that you want to see from this fall?
Yeah, you go back to 21, our first year here. You look at what we were dealing with. Coach Banks, our defensive staff have done an unbelievable job from 21 up until where we are now of continually growing. And a lot of that's been the development of our roster, some of the limitations that we had when we first got there to where we are currently, understanding of our scheme, the fundamentals within it. You look statistically at us, yards per play, tackles for loss, turnovers, we're top 1, 2, 3 in the league. And there's another step for us. This group that we have on the defensive side of the ball, length, athleticism, speed, it's the most athletic we've been, on all three levels of the defense. So excited to see their growth as we get in training camp.
Josh, what are the challenges of a freshman quarterback leading a veteran? What are some of the main challenges?
Yeah, our roster is unique. You look at our line of scrimmage. We have a lot of experience on both sides of the football. We have some youth from the time that we got back in January. I've challenged our entire team, but our veterans in particular. As we go into this year, we don't have time for any of our young guys to be young. And so that urgency has to come from everybody. Starts with me, but it's also got to be inside of our locker room. For us this year with Nico, as a young player, I've gotten a lot of questions like, him as a leader, right? Well, he does. He's phenomenal in communication in one-on-one situations, small groups. He's taking more and more ownership within our entire offense and within our football team. But the first thing you got to do is master your position. And he's continued to grow in that. And his understanding of what we do, defensive structures, being able to control the game. For him, the most important thing is to be himself, be consistent in his work habits and his preparation every day. and be in the moment, and not get too high, not get too low, just be present.
How much can you accelerate his leadership position in the offseason?
Yeah, every young quarterback that I've had, and I've started a lot of freshman quarterbacks in my career. The mastering of the position, the ownership of it, getting to game day, playing, and the growth in the leadership when those things happen. It's all part of the evolution of it. He's been phenomenal inside of our room, inside of our building, in his habits, his growth as a player, but also his communication and leading his teammates. So I'm excited about where he's at and where we see him going.
Josh, the three players you brought with you, obviously, veteran, great leaders on your team. What went into deciding those guys? Because you had other guys that would have done a good job too.
Yeah, we do have a bunch of guys that would have done a great job. We have a lot of guys that are deserving of being here, and I think that speaks to the culture that we have inside of our building, what we've built over the last 3 years. These three guys are great representatives of our football program, our athletic department, and our university. They do it the right way. There are three guys that had an opportunity to leave and go into the draft, elected to come back for all the right reasons. They care about the Power T. They care about their teammates. They're great leaders inside of our building. They're part of our leadership council. That's why these three guys are here.
What kind of stepping stone can last season be for where you want this program to get to?
End of the day, the standard at Tennessee is to win championships. We're in a race to get there as fast as we can. We've done a lot of great things in the last 3 years, last season included. Proud of the steps that we've taken, but we got to continue to climb. And at the end of the day, you got to win every single day. And this group's been really intentional in the way that they competed. They got to finish out, our summer the right way, and we get to training camp. We got to continue to grow.
How do you balance kind of winning that every day versus keeping an eye on saying, hey, we want to win an SEC championship. We want to make the college football playoff.
Yeah, everybody inside of our building understands the expectations, standards, and goals that we have. The expectations are never going to be greater outside of the building than they are inside of it. But to go accomplish those things, it's a minute by minute, step by step process that you got to unfold and embark upon. And this group's been really consistent in what they've done.
You guys came so far so quickly your first couple of seasons. What's the hardest part about that last little bit to win the championship? Talk about the expectation.
Yeah, sometimes feet are easier to gain than inches are. At the end of the day, we got to continue to grow individually, collectively as a program. I'm really proud of what we've done. I think we're third in the league in wins over the last couple of seasons. But there's more meat on the bone for us to go take. And, that's what we've done all off season. We got to continue that process here as we get in training camp.
Entering year number 4, you haven't had to make a lot of position coach changes.
Yeah.
What does it mean to have the stability with the coaching staff with you through your time here?
Yeah, the culture that you build with your staff and your players, the connection that you build with your staff, and to be honest, their families, the experience that they have, really important in keeping the right people inside of the building. We've been able to do that. It's never just one guy that helps change the trajectory of a program. Our staff, veteran coaches, young coaches have done an unbelievable job. The connection, the trust that they've earned with our players. And when you're able to retain your staff, when you start back in January, for us, it's late January when they come back for class. Instead of having to build relationships and earn trust from the jump inside of your meeting room, you're able to embark on the areas that you need to improve upon, and you're continuing to take steps forward.
You hear the phrase mini NFL tossed around when people talk about the SEC. How do the 2 new additions kind of affect that and depth that this conference has to offer?
Yeah, this is the best league in college football, and what you face from coaches, schemes, to the personnel side every single week. This is as good as it gets in college football. That's why you want to coach in it. That's why you want to play in it.
You have a lot of wide receivers plus some additions. What do you want to see out of that room in order to take that next step?
Yeah, it's the deepest that we've been at the wide receiver position, and all the things that we've had to navigate through since we got there. we're in the best position that we've been able to be in at the wide receiver position. Great competition. You can see that they have great work habits they care about and cheer on the guys that they're sitting in the room with while competing to go earn opportunities out on the field. Athleticism, length, ability to tackle the football. Really excited about the group.
How did those guys create separation coming up this fall from each other, and just what are you looking for as you kind of go through that process?
Yeah, you earn trust in everything that you do every single day. That's on the field. It's in the meeting room. It's when you're not in the building. But it all begins with trust. And you see guys that are going to be in the right spot. Your quarterback has trust in them. You can depend on them to go make plays. You earn the opportunity to go play.
You take that to every position?
Man,
Trust level.
I say it to our team all the time. Once you prove that you're going to play at a championship level consistently, it's our job as coaches to find a role and put you in a position to go be successful.
Anything else? All right.
Awesome.